Hi everyone, welcome to my Lazy Day garden. Today I'm going to go gathering seed heads from my flowers in the yard. What I do is, I'm really notoriously bad about remembering to get the dried seed heads, and I end up with nothing. So what I did was, I take a pair of nylons, knee-highs, and I just cover the flower heads with them, and I just leave them there, and then when I get around to gathering them up in the fall, they're all safely in here and not on the ground. So that's pretty much what I've done on a lot of them. This here is a cardinal flower. It's a very long stalk of red flowers. It's for hummingbirds, and I used to have a whole bed of it here, but it's a moisture loving plant, and sometimes, like I suppose over the winter it got a little too dry and they won't come up again in the spring. So I decided to save seed heads from this and just plant a bunch more, because they're really expensive. They're like $7 a plant, you know, and that can really add up when you're trying to fill a bed. So I had two plants that actually came up this year. And like I said, normally there's 10 or 12 in here, and so the bed was pretty empty this year. And you probably can't see this, but I have what's called an Indian pink right here. It's a bush that gets red trumpet flowers with yellow in the center. The hummingbirds just love it. And I've been wanting to get another one or to save the seeds, but the problem is when the seeds are ready, you know, and dried out and ready, they pop off and fly through the air. And that's who gave me the idea for using the nylons, is when I looked into this. A lady online said, do this, put it on these Indian pinks, and that way when they're ready and they pop, you could save them inside. And I did that earlier in the year, because these actually come out, I think, in late spring, around May or so. And as soon as they started drying up, I put the nylons on them, and I've got a bunch of those already. I took those off. Back in the back here, and this is basically my hummingbird bed here. Things that really attract the hummingbirds are in here. But this is actually a southern flag. It's an iris. These are all native to my area, and maybe to yours too, for all I know. I used to have like 3 of these plants, and now they're covering the whole thing. And I forgot to take the seed heads off of them. They come up in the spring. But I'm looking forward to showing you this when all these are blooming, and they look really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the yard and get up some of these flower seed heads, and I'll take you with me for a little bit here and show you what I have. Some of them I have in the nylons, and some of them I can just pick off the plants themselves. So I'm going to bring you along with me, and we'll do that. Now, as y'all know, I have New England asters. I never take the seed heads from these because they pop up all over my yard, really, and the birds eat them. But if anybody's interested in getting a New England aster, I have the seed heads right here. I've got several plants in there on here, so just let me know. I could send you some seed heads. I have purple cone flowers like crazy. Okay, they're just everywhere, and like I said, I didn't save them, but if anybody wants, they can. I actually did save some of the prairie blazing stars. These things are purple, they're gorgeous, and these two together are just really striking. They're beautiful. But I do have seed heads for both of these. And let's see what else. I don't know if I have anything else back here in the back. Okay, I have a wild bergamot here and on the other side of the yard too. And these are kind of like I think somebody compared them to a tall prairie bee balm. And they do look like bee balm. These are lilac colored. There's a baby Joe Pyeweeds here. I know my big pyeweeds have already lost their seeds. But these are baby Joe Pyeweeds. They don't get much tall. That's about as tall as they get. And they are in groups. I have 2 groups of them here, and one on the other side of the yard. This is a St. John's wort. Once again, I do not save the seeds from. This is like a bush version of it, a smaller rounded bush version of it, and then I have ones that get enormous, which are on the other side of the yard. Here's one that's growing that shouldn't be here, and I'm going to have to take out because I got too many of them. I don't save the seeds from these because they just pop up all over. But I know St. John's wort is a popular plant with some people, and if you need the seed heads from those, the big one over here on the other side of the yard has plenty of seed heads. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything. What I'm seeing here is mostly these are more echinacea, purple cone flowers. And they're all over the yard. They used to be in one place in my raised beds and I moved them. So they're kind of everywhere. And let's see what else we have. Now when I say I have sunflowers, I have native sunflowers. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but I got these at the park. I went back in the winter and took the seed heads off, and they're a native sunflower, and as you can see they can get quite tall. And they're not big like the ones everybody grows in their garden. This is also a small Joe Pye weed, baby Joe Pye weed, I don't know what they call it. But if anybody's interested in a more native sunflower that is perennial, comes back every year. I was afraid it would spread, but as you see, it's staying in this bed. It's not leaving the bed, so that's cool. Okay, here's the St. John's wort. It's a shrub. Just look at all those. It's just full of seeds. Y'all know I have goldenrods if you watch any of my videos, and those are all going to seed here. And I'll explain in another video why I leave all these up all winter. There's a reason for my madness. But I'll explain that in the spring. There's a reason why I never cut back my perennial flowers. And you know, it's not only because I'm feeding the birds. There's other reasons to that. So I'll talk about that in another video. I'm going to go to the front of the yard and we'll look and see what's in the front. Okay, so this was the aromatic aster, and they're drying out nicely, so I'm going to take some seeds from that. And I have to tell you about this one that it just was wonderful this year, and it's a summer sweet, I believe is what it is. And I didn't really need to use the nylon to find out because the seeds are still on these. But I didn't know it at the time, and just to be on the safe side, I put some nylons on these to save the seeds. This thing is at my front door. Beautiful white cascading flowers. I got that 5 or 6 years ago at a nursery. This thing was just covered in bees, just covered in pollinators. Sometime this summer, early summer, I think. And I go, wow, I need to get one of these and put it back in my garden and back. I know you guys can't picture this. These are just dead plants right now. So I'm sorry, but these are really beautiful plants that I'll talk about this one, but I can't remember the name of it. And the other plant in my backyard I got was, I believe y'all call it heuchera. And I already got the seeds from that. I had the nylon on that. Well, I hope I did because I cannot find it in the leaves. And mind you, I get these leaves up every week. I come up here and rake these leaves. And they're not coming from my yard. Not all of them. My leaves are still on the trees. And they'll fall all winter. So it's basically coming from my neighbors in the back, on the side. That's okay, I like leaves. But no matter how much I scoop them up, there's more will fall. I've been raking the leaves into my garden beds. And as you see, I still got a lot more to go. I didn't hit the back of the yard yet, so they got a good place to go. Okay, that's about it. I'm going to gather these seeds up and then I'll let you know what I ended up with in the end. Thanks for stopping by my garden, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.